गणानां त्वा गणपतिगं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पतान् शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनं श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। Om. Dear friends, we were reading this, we just completed the third shloka of 10th adhyaya. Third shloka is Yo Mam Ajam Anadimcha Vetti Lokamaheshwaram Asammudhassa Martyeshu Sarva Papaih Pramuchyate. So the context is that of the vibhutis of the Supreme Reality. Vedanta says that the Supreme Brahman is something which is Asanga, Nirguna, Avikari, who has absolutely no Kartrutva, no Bhoktrutva, that is no doership, not a doer, not an enjoyer. So all these things is totally Avikari. So that is what Vedanta says. Then how is it that he is connected to this so-called universe? This universe, has he created separately or is it an appearance in him? What exactly is this? So in order to explain this, we have got a concept of Maya. It is a sort of interface between the Brahman and this universe. And then this Maya is again a power which manifests in that Brahman. And in that Maya, all these things appears. So that is what we have seen. And in this Maya, there are certain Vibhuti. Vibhuti means special, manifestations of the grandeur of that Supreme Brahman, of the greatness of that Supreme Brahman. If we characterize that Supreme Brahman by Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, or says Asti Bhati Priyam Rupam Namachetyam Shapanchakam, if we take it that manner. So Asti Bhati Priyam, which are the aspects of that Supreme Brahman, are manifest in this universe with various Nama and Rupa. This Nama and Rupa are the things which belong to this earth, or which belong to the universe, or which are appearances. And then this Asti Bhati Priyam are aspects of that Supreme Being. So that Supreme Being, these three aspects are exclusively manifest or brilliantly manifest in certain things in the universe which we see. So what are these brilliant manifestations? Vibhuti is Vividha Rupena Bhavanam, that is to exist or to come into existence or appear in so many forms. So that is what is called Vibhuti, Vividha Rupena Bhavanam. So that is where we are. And then this particular shloka says, Yo Mam Ajam Anadimcha. So Anadimcha Vetti Lokamaheshwaram. Lokamaheshwara, there is no doubt. Lokamaheshwara means he is the ruler of all the worlds, there is no doubt about it. Then again, you also have to know Ajam Anadimcha. Cha means also. You also know at this level, that is Aja and Anadi, that which is that consciousness which has no beginning, no end. So that level also you have to know. That particular Cha signifies that you have to know at the absolute level also, not only at the level of this empirical Brahman, but you should also know at the absolute level. If you know that, and that man, asammudhaha samartyeshu, that person without any sort of delusion, sarva papaih pramuchyate means, and also whether it is papa includes punya also, papaihi punyaihi sarvaihi pramokshyate. So that is what we have seen. Lokanam mahantam ishwaram, this last line also we read. Turiyam ajnana tatkarya varjitam. Turiyam is, we know that in that, what is that, Mandukya Upanishad, it refers to the three stages in a man's, the awareness. That is, right now we are in the Jagrada Avastha. Then in the night we get into sleep, and then before we fall into deep sleep, there is what is called a Swapna Avastha. So in that Swapna, during Jagrada Avastha, you are very conscious about your self, and then what is called this consciousness is very much we are feeling. Then Swapnavastha again, the Jiva or the mind creates a totally different world on its own. So which means that again is the existence of that consciousness only. In the deep sleep again there is consciousness, it is not totally absent. Deep sleep again, that is what is called Prajnana Ghanaha. So in deep sleep again it is there. So the consciousness which pervades all the three states of a human being and also which is beyond, that is called Turiya. Turiya does not mean a fourth one. Turiya is only a figure. It does not refer to a fourth one. There is no fourth level. That Turiya includes, just as a 4 anna coin is included in 1 rupee, all these three stages are included in that Turiya. So from that sense it is Turiyam. And that Turiyam is Ajnana Tat Karya Varjitam. The Turiya is beyond this Ajnana, beyond this Maya. And then Ajnana results in Ajnana, Kama, Karma. That is what we have read in some other Bhashyam also. Ajnana leads to desire, desire leads to action. So, and action again results to Papa or Punya, some good or bad result. So, this is a cycle. So, Varjitam means devoid of all those things. Asammudha sammoha varjitaha martyeshu sarva papaihi vimuchyate. So, he will be rid of all these things. So, up to this point we read. We have to read the fourth shloka. Let us read it. Buddhirjnanam asammoha Shama satyam damashyamaha Sukham dukkam bhavo Bhayam cha bhayameva cha. So these are here we are seeing some of these characteristics. There are certain characteristics of Sattva guna. There are certain characteristics of Rajo guna or Tamo guna. So here this shloka and also in the next shloka, that is Ahimsa, Samata, Tushtihi, Tapodanam, Yashoeshaha. So we will see different characteristics which are of the three gunas. We know that the Prakriti is having three gunas, this Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Sattvika gunas are different, Rajo gunas are different and Tamo gunas are different. And everything in this universe is a mixture of these Sattva, Rajas and Tamo guna in different proportions. So there are infinite number of proportions. So 1% Sattva, then 2% Rajas and 97% Tamas can be there. 97% Sattva and then 2% Rajas and 1% Tamas can be there. So if you see that infinite number of, if you see these permutations and combinations, you will have infinite number of permutations and combinations of the Sattva, Rajas and Tamo guna. Manifestations of these gunas in different people and different objects also. Different objects which we consider as insentient and inanimate, even in those objects you see this manifestation of these three gunas. So this is what we see. And then we say all these gunas, not all the gunas are recounted here. A few of them are mentioned as a sample. Here let us see Buddhihi Jnanam Asammohaha. Buddhi is, normally we refer to intellect. So that is what Shankaracharya is also going to say. Buddhi, that analytical ability, that sharpness of intellect. So that is what he is also going to say. Buddhihi. Jnanam. Jnanam is again Atma Anatma Jnanam. Not ordinary general knowledge and all that. This is Atma Anatma Jnanam. This is Sat Asad Vichara. What is Sat and what is Asat? That Sadasad Vichara is, that is what leads to Atma Anatma. That is what is called, otherwise called Atma Anatma Viveka. Then Asammoha. Sammoha is delusion. Asammoha means lack of delusion or absence of delusion. And absence of delusion will give you clarity of mind, and then again which will give you, it will give you some enthusiasm. It will give you enthusiasm for action. So Shankaracharya is giving the meaning, actually enthusiasm, utsaha. Utsaha is enthusiasm. So asammoha, so lack of delusion is, it will result in utsaha, a lot of say enthusiasm to do a thing. Then kshama, asammoha kshama. Normally we mean by kshama, what do we mean by kshama? That is, if somebody hurts you, you just keep quiet or you pardon. So that is one meaning of kshama, it is also there. Kshama, it has two meanings as per dictionary if you see. Kshama means, the first meaning is to permit, to allow, to suffer. Kshamate, kshama, to permit, to allow, to suffer. So these are the meanings. Kshama is, even if somebody say shows some aggression on you, suppose there is an aggressor and that aggressor is showing some aggression on you, even then you are showing some kshama to him. This is a sattvika guna. This is not a rajasa guna. This may or may not be needed in say in an ordinary day-to-day situation for an ordinary man. But this is the guna which is recommended for a spiritual seeker. for a sannyasi, not for somebody who is there on the Pakistan border or some China border. So the problem with Vedanta is we should not tell something which is told to a sannyasi, we should not tell him to somebody who is sitting in the border. So this Kshama is that ability to allow that aggression also and then just dismiss it and then bless him. So that is the character of, that is the attitude of a real seeker, a spiritual seeker. So this is one then the second meaning is to pardon. The first meaning is to permit, to allow, to suffer. The second meaning is to pardon. So both are very much related. So Kshama, in fact Shankaracharya is going to say that Kshama, he is saying to be very unperturbed even if somebody say shows some aggression on you. A totally forgiving nature. So that is Kshama. Then Satyam. Satyam is, say we have got two levels of Satyam we have seen. That is the Satyam Vada, Dharmam Chara. No, not only that. What is that? Satyam Vadishyami, Rutam Vadishyami. We have got two levels, isn't it? Satyam is one absolute level of Satyam, which is decided by all the pramanas and whatnot, and which is irrefutable, and Sarvakalika Satyam, which cannot be negated in past, present and future. That is one type of Satyam. Then Rutam is something which is in tune with the social harmony. In a particular context, what is right? Ruta, I feel that right, the English word right is very cognate with the Sanskrit root Rutam. That is what I think. Maybe so. So this Rutam is something which is right in a particular situation. What is Dharma in a particular situation? We know that Dharma also, it is not totally absolute. There are certain things which do not change in Dharma. There are certain things which do change according to place, time. Say one thing which is called a Dharma at a particular time may not be Dharma at another point of time. And in one particular context, what is Dharma may not be Dharma in another particular context. So in fact, there are several illustrations also given, say in various Puranas. For example, say somebody, suppose there is some monk or somebody who is doing some tapas in a forest, and somebody, a pilgrim, a passenger, is chased by a robber, and that person, he comes and then hides in this monk's ashram. And then that robber comes and asks, did you see this man? Did you see a man? So this man should not say, yes, he is hiding here. So that robber will come and kick him and take away his money. So at that time, he has to very cleverly come out of the situation. Then he will say, no, the eyes which have seen cannot tell, and the mouth which can tell has not seen. Something like that he has to say, and then get out of the situation. Because that robber, he also has some respect for this monk, because this monk can give any curse at any time. So that is how this monk escapes. So like that is what is right. What is right in a particular situation, that is Satyam. There again, the Rutam and Satyam. So here, of course, we are getting the meaning Yatha Drushtasya, Yatha Shrutasya cha. That is whatever exactly is proved by Pramana. So that is Satyam. So in this context. Then Damaha Shamaha. Dama Shama we have seen, we know these things. Dama is Bahyendriya Nigraha. That is, say, though the mind wants to run here and there, you are forcibly restraining your senses. Your mind wants to go and see some place, go to a casino, go to some other place, go to some pub or something like that. But then your buddhi is intervening. Buddhi is something like that Sarathi, that charioteer. And then buddhi is restraining you, and then it is controlling you. So that is what is called Dhamma. Shama is the next stage where even the mind is controlled. Shama is the stage where the mind also, it will not even get that idea. That happens only over a period of time, only by some sort of Nitya Vastu Viveka. In this, the first step of spiritual process, only when it starts, then only this Shama manifests. So till that time only Dhamma will be there, and because of fear of law or because of fear of your reputation, you may not do certain things. But thereafter, when you are really into this, this good company, let us say, or some reading of the scriptures, etc., then you come to a stage where the desire also, it drops off. So that is it. Desire means dharma viruddho kamaha. That's what we have to say, keep in mind. That is, any desire which is in accordance with dharma is permitted. A desire which is not in accordance with dharma, it is removed or discarded. So that is the meaning. Damaha shamaha. Then sukham dukham bhavo abhavo. Sukham is happiness. Dukkham is misery. No special meaning is given to this. Bhavaha means utpatti, origin. That is coming into existence. Bhavaha, to be. Bhu dhatu, the root bhu in Sanskrit means to be, to come into existence. Then abhavaha, bhavo, abhavo. And some texts, of course, Madhusudana Saraswati has taken the version as bhavo, bhavo, bhavaha, bhavaha. He has taken that sort of text. But then Shankaracharya has used it in the sense abhavaha, bhavaha, abhavaha. Nilakantha also has taken the text as bhavaha, abhavaha. Abhava is the absence of bhavaha. That is the say dissolution. Bhava is utpatti, abhava is dissolution. Then bhayam cha abhayam cha. Bhayam is fear, abhayam is fearlessness. And in the context of Vedanta, bhayam and abhayam also have some special significance. We know that. That is, abhayam, a man reaches that stage of abhayam. When does he reach that stage? Only when he has atmajnana. A person who has atmajnana, he gets over that fear also. Because he has got over that feeling of limitedness. He has got over that feeling of that parichinnata. So when he has got over the feeling of parichinnata, the enemy also is in him. He sees the enemy within him. He sees some Pakistani or Chinese within him. So it should not be told to a man on the border. This is why we are talking about a jnani. We are talking about a jnani where he sees no enemies, and then he is in that state of fearlessness. So that is it. That fearlessness comes because of the ability to see Brahman all around, ability to see Brahman in everything, ability to see everything as manifestation of that Brahman. So that is where that abhaya stage. Then bhayam is the opposite of it. So these are all characteristics which are some of them are sattvika gunas, some of them are rajasa gunas, etc., etc. Let us see the bhashyam, or we'll see the bhashyam and go to the next shloka. Atascha aham maheshwaraha lokanam.
Atascha aham maheshwaraha lokanam.
Buddhihi antahkaranasya.
Buddhihi antahkaranasya.
Sukshmadyarthavabodhana samarthyam.
Sukshmadyarthavabodhana samarthyam.
Buddhihi means antahkaranasya, of that antahkarana. Of that antahkarana is of that inner organ. Inner organ, we know it is divided. We say visualize it, or we see it in 4 stages: mano, buddhi, ahankara, chitta. Manasu, buddhi, ahankara, and chitta. We see at 4 levels, isn't it? You remember that. So buddhi is that stage of discrimination, that intellect, the ability to see what is right and what is wrong. So buddhihi, is it okay?
Yeah.
Not required, no problem. No problem. Is the mic working?
Yeah.
Buddhihi antahkaranasya, of the mind. Sukshmadi artha avabodhana samarthyam. Sukshmadi, any minute thing, any subtle thing, the ability to analyze even very, very subtle things, that is Sukshma Adi. Artha avabodhana samarthyam. Artha means meaning, very, very subtle things also, very complicated things. Avabodhana, that is able to comprehend, able to understand. That sort of ability to comprehend even very, very subtle, complex things. That is what is buddhi, avabodhana samarthyam. Tadvantam buddhimanitihi vadanti.
Tadvantam buddhimanitihi vadanti.
Oh, that person, the person who is having such a buddhi, is called buddhiman, itihi vadanti. Because we know that such a person is called buddhiman. Then jnanam.
Jnanam.
Atmadi padarthanam.
Atmadi padarthanam.
Avabodhaha.
Avabodhaha.
Asammohaha.
Asammohaha.
Pratyutpanneshu bodhavyeshu dravyeshu.
Pratyutpanneshu
bodhavyeshu
dravyeshu.
Vivekapurvika pravrittihi.
Vivekapurvika pravrittihi.
Okay, jnanam. Jnanam is Atma Adi Padarthanam Avabodhaha. That is, avabodha is Understanding. Say grasping. Grasping what? Atma Adi Padarthanam. That is Atma, what is Atma and what is Anatma, what is real, what is unreal, the ability to distinguish that. So that sort of thing is what is called Jnanam. Then Asammoha. Asammoha is, that is clarity of mind. Asammoha is lack of delusion and clarity of mind. What sort of clarity? Pratyutpanneshu bodhavyeshu dravyeshu. So in any emerging situation, suddenly some situation arises. In such an emergent situation, in any emergent situation, the ability to face it, the ability to react sharply to that, understand it immediately. So that ability to understand any emerging situation. In other words, coping with the social change, let us say, coping with any type of change, coping with any changing situation. So that is it. Any emerging situation, you put it in the right perspective. You grasp it immediately, you put it in the right perspective, that is called asammoha. Pratyutpanna. Pratyutpanna means that is arising in front of you. Pratyutpanneshu bodhavyeshu. Bodhavya means that which has to be understood, that which has to be grasped. Bodhavyam. Bodhavyeshu, dravyeshu, in all those things. Viveka purvika pravrittihi. Viveka purvika. Viveka is the distinguishing ability, the discriminating ability. Viveka purvika pravrittihi. Then kshama. Akrustasya taditasya va avikruta chittata. Avikruta chittata. Chittam means mind. Avikruta means mind which does not become vikari. If it becomes vikari, it becomes vikruta. If it becomes vikari, it is called vikruta. Vikruta. Avikruta means that which does not undergo any change. That which is unperturbed, let us say, that which is unperturbed by any akrustasya taditasya va. Akrushta literally means somebody drags you, somebody pulls you. Taditasya, somebody beats you, somebody hits you. So which means that somebody who, not merely physically, but even mentally, emotionally, somebody who is insulting you, somebody who is causing some pain to you. So this need not be taken in a totally physical sense, but in a different sense also. Akrustasya taditasya va avikruta chittata. So your mind is perturbed, you are able to forgive the fellow, so you have gone above him. So only when you are at his level only, then you take it take it seriously. Suppose your child tries to hit you, you will not get angry. If your child throws something on you, your child tries to give a punch to you, you are not going to get angry. So something like that, you are in a different level. So that is what happens when you are a jnani. Then shama, okay, satyam, yatha drustasya yatha shrutasya cha atmanubhavasya parabuddhi sankrantaye tathaiva uchyaryamana vak satyam uchyate. This is satyam in a literal sense. Shankaracharya is giving the meaning here. That is yatha drustasya yatha shrutasya cha. That is whatever has been seen. Yatha drustam, that which has been seen or that which has been heard. Those things exactly in the same manner. Atmanubhavasya. Atmanubhava. Atmanubhava means that which has come into your own experience. So we can also take this yatha drushta and yatha shruta. Yatha drushta means that which is there in the darshanam. Yatha shruta, that which is there in the shruti. And atmanubhava, your own atmanubhava. Whatever has been told and whatever has been mentioned in the shruti, and you have got into atmanubhava, you have experienced to some extent. And parabuddhi sankrantaye. Samkranti means transfer. Samkranti, transfer. Krama means a step. We are now going to have Sankranti in the next month. Sankranti festival, a month from now. What is Sankranti? Sankranti is sun going from one position to another position. Sun getting transferred from the, so this Dakshinayana to Uttarayana, isn't it? The Tropic of Cancer, he goes into that. So that is Sankranti, means transfer, movement. Parabuddhi Sankrantaya means in order to transfer to somebody else, in order to tell somebody else. So Satyam, we are now discussing this Satyam. Whatever you have seen, whatever you have experienced, whatever you have heard, and whatever that thing, you are supposed to transfer to other, transmit to the other man, not even transfer, let us say transmit to the other person. Tathaiva ucharyamana vak. You are just saying as it is. Whatever has come into your experience, you are saying without any addition, deletion, without any embellishment, without any distortion. So that is what is called satyam. Vak satyam uchyate. Damaha bahyendriya upashamaha.
Damaha bahyendriya upashamaha.
Shamaha antahkaranasya.
Shamaha antahkaranasya.
These two we have discussed.
Yes.
Then sukham ahladaha.
Sukham ahladaha.
Dukham santapaha.
Dukham santapaha.
These two are also clear. Sukham is ahlada. Ahlada means happiness. Dukham is santapaha. Something which hurts, say the antahkarana. Then bhavaha udbhavaha.
Bhavaha udbhavaha.
Abhavaha tad viparyayaha.
Abhavaha tad viparyayaha.
So bhava and abhava, this is the patham which Shankaracharya has taken. Many others also have taken like that, but Madhusudana Saraswati has taken it as bhava and bhava. So then again bhava, he gives a different meaning. What is it? Sukham, dukham. Bhavaha utpattihi, bhavaha satta, abhavaha asatta itiva. So he says. So bhavaha utpattihi, bhavaha satta. Satta means to just to be born is bhava, and to have existence is bhavaha. So that is how he takes. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It is not a very serious thing. Bhavaha, abhavaha. Then bhavaha, udbhavaha means that is coming into existence. Abhavaha, tad viparyaha, the opposite of it. That is dissolution. Then bhayam cha trasaha.
Bhayam cha trasaha.
Abhayam eva cha tad viparitam.
Abhayam eva cha tad viparitam.
So bhayam means fear. Abhayam is tad viparitam is the opposite of that. Then let us read the next shloka. Ahimsa samata tushtihi.
Ahimsa samata tushtihi.
Tapodanam yasho yashaha.
Tapodanam yasho yashaha.
Bhavanti bhava bhutanam.
Bhavanti bhava bhutanam.
Mattayeva pruthagvidhaha.
Mattayeva pruthagvidhaha.
So here again, ahimsa, samata, tushtihi, all these again are characteristics. These are all various human characteristics which we are seeing. Ahimsa, that is, this is again a totally sattvika bhava. Sattvika means related to sattva guna. That is, ahimsa is non-violence, we know that. Then samata. Samata is, that is, to be equal to all people, even to an enemy. Even to an enemy, give the devil its due. So that sort of, say, high level of, that sort of maturity level is what is called samata. A person might have done you something wrong, but when it comes to doing justice to him, you have to do justice to him. That is what is called samata. To be equal to everybody without having any sort of prejudices, without having any sort of preferences and all that. So that is what is called samata. Ahimsa, samata, tushtihi. Tushtihi is happiness. Not only happiness, happiness can be of two types. When you get something, you are happy. When you don't have something also, you are happy. So this is called tushti. When you don't have something also, whatever is available with you, you are happy. So that is tushti. Tosham. Santosham. We know the word santosha. Tosha and tushti from the same root. Tush dhatu. So this is sometimes happiness in somebody, happiness may be due to acquisition of objects. But without acquisition of objects also, even by rejection of objects, somebody may be totally happy. By rejecting something, by not wanting anything, somebody may be happy. So that is what is called santushti. So that is why there is a shloka also, asantushto dvijo nashtaha, santushtaiva parthivaha. Some shloka, there are some small niti shlokas. So in one of the niti shlokas says, asantushto dvijo nashtaha. A dvija of course refers to all the three people. Dvijaha, who is asantushta, one who is not having this happiness, he will come to grief. In this particular shloka, Dvija is referring to a Brahmin, because a Brahmana is supposed to be having a higher level of morality than all other people. Kshatriya cannot be santushta. Dvija is supposed to be santushta. Dvija should not be aspiring. Dvija should not be greedy. A Brahmin should not be greedy. A Brahmin should not be aspiring for more and more and more. A Brahmin should be happy with whatever he has. So that is what is called the code of conduct for the Brahmin, isn't it? A Kshatriya code of conduct is different. Kshatriya should not be satisfied. If Kshatriya is satisfied with what he has, his enemies will come and say loot him. So he should always be wary of his enemies. He should always be showing his aggressive posture. Otherwise, the other fellow will come and hit him. So that is what is the duty of a Kshatriya. So that is why Santushtaiva Parthivaha. Parthivaha, a king comes to grief if he is Santushta. A Brahmin comes to grief if he is greedy. So that is the shloka. Asantushtod vijo nashtaha santushtaiva parthivaha. Then second line also is there. It's not required. So tushtihi. Then tapaha. Tapa is austerity. Tapa, of course, there are different two meanings of tapa. Tapa is physical, taking physical strain and then observing some austerities, doing some upavasa and things like that, fasting and all things like that. Then tapa, the second meaning is alochane, tapa alochane, tapasa brahma vijignyasasva. In that line, tapa is alochane, thinking. So that is again tapaha. So here both meanings we can take. Tapa, you can take the meaning of austerity, you can take the meaning of, say, training your mind to such a state, the state of tranquility, state of samadhi, and then thinking on a thing, whether meditation on a thing. So all those things we can take. Then danam. Danam is again described in our books in several manners. Shraddhaya deyam, ashraddhaya deyam. If you see Taittiriya Upanishad, say you have to give, whenever you do this danam, you have to choose the right person, you have to do the right type of danam. You should not donate to somebody who is going to spend that money for some terrorist cause or some criminal purpose. So this is again danam, where the fellow is going to contribute to some social good. Only then only you are supposed to do some danam. Shriya deyam, hriya deyam, with amount of modesty you have to give, not with arrogance and as though you are throwing something to a beggar. You are not supposed to do that. So a code of conduct for a donor. So that is also there. Code of conduct for a donor is there in Taittiriya Upanishad. Then yashaha, ayashaha. Yasha is fame because of some good deeds you have done. Yasha is fame. Ayasha is ill fame. Then bhavanti bhavaha bhutanam matta eva pruthagvidhaha. Pruthagvidhaha bhavaha. So many varieties. Only some are mentioned here, but very many things are not mentioned here. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, all these things are not mentioned here. All these things, they emanate from me, they originate from me only. Me means Prakriti. Me means not the Supreme Brahman. We have to understand it as the empirical level Brahman. That is Saguna Brahma. We have to take it as Saguna Brahma. In fact, we are seeing that, that comment also. This is, of course, I will read in the next shloka. So we are referring to an empirical Brahma here. Even if Lord Krishna is saying from the point of view of that Supreme Brahman, we have to take it as empirical Brahman only, because that Supreme Brahman is something which is unconnected with all these things. So all these pruthagvidhaha, pruthak means different, diverse. Pruthagvidhaha bhavaha matta eva bhavanti, from me only, matta eva. Mattaha is Panchami Vibhakti. Mattaha, from me. Bhavanti means they come into existence. All these things. So what do we see here? Good, bad, ugly, everything is in that Prakriti only. So this is something which is unique in our Vedic system, which we have to see. If you see other religions, they talk about a god, they also talk about one Satan, one devil or something like that. So God is there with all good characteristics and devil is there with all bad characteristics, and these people are eternally fighting. So this is what is the conceptualization of the the person who has, those who have created those books, isn't it? Which means God will be a very delimited man. After all, God may be a very strong man, but he is a delimited man, isn't it? Because God is there on one side, a devil also is there on another side. And God keeps on fighting with the devil. Devil keeps on trying to overpower this man and then throw him out and then get on to his throne. So that sort of situation is not, it cannot be accepted in philosophy. So that is why it is said all these things are manifestations within that supreme reality because of what is called Prakriti. This Prakriti are not exactly human nature. Prakriti is that Maya, or in that level. These three gunas are there. and different combinations of these three gunas, they produce people of diverse, say, characteristics. So that is the meaning here. So all these things, good, bad, everything, they come under Prakriti only. And there is no need for any devil, or there is no need for any other Rakshasa. This Rakshasa again is, what is that, what is that Rakshasa? Sometimes this Prakriti balance keeps on changing. In Prakriti, there is a balance between good and evil. Sometimes that balance is in favor of good, sometimes the balance is in favor of bad, isn't it? So when the balance goes very much in favor of bad, yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata, abhyutthanam adharmasya, adharmasya abhyutthanam is ascendance of that adharma, ascendance or increase of that adharma, then there is a divine manifestation which is called avatara. Abhyutthanam adharmasya tada atmanam srujamyaham, very famous shloka. So there is some divine scheme, in that divine scheme of things, there is some mechanism to restore balance, and that mechanism is called avatara. It may be Krishna avatara, Rama avatara, Narasimha avatara, some avatara. All these avatars have some philosophical significance. So whenever there is ascendance of adharma, that adharma is again reduced, and then there is a sort of equilibrium which is maintained. It is a sort of, it's always changing equilibrium. It is a sort of dynamic equilibrium, as we call it. It keeps on changing. So sometimes too much of goodness is there. When too much of goodness again is there, even the too much of goodness also cannot be tolerated. So all the people are just keeping quiet. Then anybody, one single robber can come and loot all the people. So that sort of danger also is there. So always there is a sort of equilibrium. So all these things, bhavanti bhavaha bhutanam mattayo prithagvidhaha. Okay, ahimsa apida praninam.
Ahimsa apida praninam.
Samata samachittata. Tushtihi santoshaha. Paryapta buddhir labheshu. Tapaha indriya samyama purvakam sharira pidanam. Okay. Ahimsa. Ahimsa is apida praninam. Praninam, for any being, apida. You are not causing any harm to any prani. So that is ahimsa. Samata, samachittata, that being equal to all, samachittata, very absolutely impartial, absolutely without any sort of prejudice or anything, absolutely disinterested, as we say, disinterested, not uninterested, disinterested. You are absolutely impartial. Samachittata. Then tushtihi santoshaha. Tushti is happiness. What is that happiness? Paryapta buddhihi labheshu. Something is there and then you are happy. Yadruchya labha santushtaha. Something is there for you today and you are happy with that. This is one characteristic of, this is again sattva guna only. For sattva guna only. It may not be applicable for somebody who is a king, but it is applicable for somebody who is supposed to be a seeker. For you and me it is applicable. So, paryapta buddhi labheshu. Then tapaha indriya samyama purvakam sharira pidanam. That is, the first thing, prerequisite here is indriya samyama. In tapas, the prerequisite is indriya samyama. Your bahyendriya nigraha is very much required, and antarindriya nigraha is also very much required. Tat purvakam sharira pidanam. You also put the body to some amount of strain, because you have to get up early in the morning and then you have to do some japam, or you may have to wake up till late in the night and then you have to do some japam. So all these things which are whatever is prescribed in Dharma Shastras, all these smrutis, you are supposed to do. So that is what is called tapa. Then danam yatha shakti samvibhagaha.
Danam yatha shakti samvibhagaha.
Yatha shakti, to your ability, whatever is your ability, you are supposed to give. Of course, there are some extreme cases where one king, he even chops off his flesh and then gives to somebody. When some bird comes and then it asks for food, when there is absolutely nothing, he just chops off his muscles and then he gives to it as food. So that is, you know that who is that gentleman? Shibi Chakravarti. You have the story of the Shibi Chakravarti in Mahabharata. All these stories we find in most of the stories in Mahabharata. Anyway, here yatha shakti samvibhagaha, as far as your ability goes. Then yashaha dharma nimitta kirtihi.
यशः धर्मनिमित्ता कीर्तिः
अयशस्तु अधर्मनिमित्ता अकीर्तिः.
अयशस्तु अधर्मनिमित्ता अकीर्तिः.
Okay, yashaha is dharma nimitta kirtihi. You have performed lot many acts of dharma. Dharma means in accordance with dharma you have done some dhanam, say you have done some ishtapurtam, you have done some good deeds, that is something, you have constructed some buildings, you have dug some water wells for poor people, you have built some other schools and things like that. So these are all dharma activities, dharmic activities. So for that you are getting a kirti, you are getting some fame. And contrast to that is ayashaha, adharma nimitta. You have done some other looting and then land grabbing, and then you have done some scams. You have been a government servant and indulged in some scam, let us say. So if you are in that scams, then that is akirtihi. Bhavanti bhavaha yathoktaha
भवन्ति भावाः यथोक्ताः
बुद्ध्यादयः भूतानां प्राणिनां मत्त एव ईश्वरात् पृथग्विधा नानाविधाः स्वकर्मानुरूपेण. So all these bhavas, they are manifesting in different people, swakarmanurupena, depending on their own karma, depending on their own whatever karma they have done in this janma, they will be born with all these characteristics, which again have to be over a period of time, they should be got rid of. They should be got rid of by sajjana sangatyam, by santa, what is called satta sang, let us say, by all this say study of scriptures, etc. You have to get rid of all these bad things. So that is the implication here. Swakarmanurupena, all these bhavaha yathoktaha buddhyadayaha. Bhavaha means all these characteristics. Bhava here is characteristics. Buddhyadayaha, buddhihi, jnanam, asamoha, etc., etc. All these things. Bhutanam, praninam, matta eva ishwarat. Matta eva, from me only, from this Loka Maheshwaram. Loka Maheshwara he said, isn't it? This the Lord of all this say universe. Pruthagvidaha nanavidaha, of so many types. Swakarmanurupena. Kincha Maharshayas sapta purve Chatvaro manavastatha Madbhava manasa jataha Yesham loka imah prajaha. So here again, there is again some more manifestations he is giving. Here till in the earlier two shlokas, we saw so many qualities of humans. So many qualities, not only of humans, gods and also demons. All these qualities of good, bad, ugly we have seen. Here again, with this particular shloka is talking about some Maharshis, that great sages, and also the Manus. Manu is one type, that is one type of progenitors. In the very beginning of say this Shankara Bhashya, we came across the word called Prajapatayaha. So Agre, Srushva, Marichi, Marichi, etc. Prajapatis were created by this Brahma, by this creator Brahma. We are talking about the creator Brahma. So this Manus, they belong to that category. Rishis, they belong to one category. Rishis are mantra drashtayaha. Rishi means, Rusha Gatav, I was explaining in the last, one of the earlier classes. Rusha means jnana prapti. One who is a Rishi means one who has seen the, say all these Vedas. All these Vedas, they are supposed to have been seen by various Rishis, isn't it? Rishi. That is why it is called Darshanam. All these people seem to have in their tapas, all these Vedas, they are revealed to them. So that is the type of people to whom Vedas are revealed. So that is why these are the people who will tell what is dharma, and what is in that dharma again, what is pravrutti dharma and what is nivrutti dharma. These are the people who will tell that. Manu is a different category. Manu category is basically from the same word Manu only, this Manusmruti, etc. we know. Manusmruti. There are supposed to be 14 Manus in our Puranic lore. If we see the Puranic lore, we have got 7 Rishis, Saptarshi. Then again 14 say Manus. Manus, they are the people, they are responsible for creation. creation of this whole, all these animals, beings, all types of beings, not only human being, all the say beings. So these are the two categories. Maharshis are the seers of this eternal truth called Veda. This eternal truth called Vedas, they are revealed to those people. And Manus are the people who are creators of all these beings. So in fact, every day, if we do Sandhya, we recite one mantra. Kaliyuge Prathamapade Jambudvipe Bharatavarshe Bharatakhande Vaivasvata Manvantare, we say. So we are right now said to be in Vaivasvata Manvantaram. So the tenure of one Manu is called Manvantara. Manvantara is the tenure of a Manu. So there are 14 such Manus, and we are now somewhere in the middle. I don't exactly, I did not check up what is the number of this particular Manu, Vaivasvata Manu. So some Manus have gone by and some Manus are going to come in future. So this Vaivasvata Manu is, Vaivasvata is again what? Vivaswan means Surya, that is sun god. Vaivasvata means that one who is the son of that sun god is Vaivasvata. Sun god's son, he is called the Vaivasvata Manu. So something relating to the solar rays, whatever it is. Solar rays we can say, or solar in this particular type of creation, in this particular creation, the whole life is there in this solar system. In what sense it is, we do not know, but then we are now in Vaivasvata Manvantara. So these two categories. So here let us see the shloka. Maharshayaha Sapta Purve. Purve means there are two ways of dividing the shloka. I will tell you. Maharshayaha Sapta Purve Chatvaro Manavaha. So this is one way of division. That is, the Purve means ancient. Those ancient Sapta Maharshayaha. Purve Sapta Maharshayaha. Those 7 Maharshis. Then Chatvaraha Manavaha. 4 Manus. So this is one way of dividing. But then there is a problem here, because these Manus are not 4 in number. The Manus are 14 in number. The Manus are 14, Chaturdasha Manavaha. So that is why this particular shloka, the people who are sticklers to say all these Puranas and then who want to reconcile all what is there in the Purana, etc., they will find it difficult to tell this shloka. But then luckily, Nilakantha Vyakya, Madhusudana Vyakya and all these Sridhara Vyakya, they are very, very clear. They have given both the versions. They have given both the divisions. That is, one is Maharshaya Saptapurva is 7 Maharshis and 4 Manus. But if you want to account for those 14 people, you have to divide it like this. Maharshaya Sapta. You break there. Maharshaya Sapta. That is 7 Rishis. Purve Chatvaraha. Purve Chatvaraha means in the beginning, before the creation of these 7 Maharshis, there are 4 people called Sanaka Sanandanadulu. There are 4 people who are called the divine Rishis. They are called the divine Rishis, who are always moving, naked. Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanat Kumara, Sanat Sujata. So those people, those 4 people are there. They are the Deva Rishis. They are called the Deva Rishi. These people are in the Manushya Loka. The Saptarshis are in Manushya Loka. The Devarshis are in the Deva Loka. So those Devarshis are called Sanaka Sanandanadayaha. So Purve Chatvaraha, you have to divide like that. Maharshayaha Sapta, Purve Chatvaraha means those 4 divine Rishis. Then Manavaha Tatha likewise Manavaha, Chaturdasha Manavaha. So this 14 Manus. So that is how Madhusudana Saraswati has divided. And Sridhara Vyakya, Sridhara is again another great commentator. Chatvaraha Manavaha Sanakadayaha. Tatha Manavaha Swayambhuvadayaha. So that is what? So that is how 7 plus 4 plus 14. So that is how it is divided. 7 Rishis, 4 celestial Rishis, that is divine Rishis, and 14 Manus. So 7 plus 4 plus 14, that is how it is divided. But anyway, count is not very, very important. This is basically explaining that all these things are my own manifestations. So that is ultimately we come to that. Then Madbhavaha Manasa Jataha. Madbhavaha, that is, their minds are dwelling in me only. Madbhavaha. Madchittaha, Madbhavaha. Their minds are dwelling in me only. Then that is, they are aware of Brahman. They are jnanis. All these people are jnanis who know the real tattva, Brahma tattvam. Then how are they created? Manasa jataha. Manasa, that is, they are by sheer volition, by my sheer volition. So this creator Brahman is there. He does not have a wife, and then it is not as though he has got a wife and then he begets some children and whatnot. Manasa jataha, by his volition. By his volition, by his will, by his will, all these people are created. So that is the meaning. Madbhavaha manasa jataha, yesham, of those people, imaha prajaha loke. Imah prajaha means all these people. Imah prajaha, all these people. Loke, loka imah prajaha. Loka is loke. That sandhi, when it comes to sandhi, when there is a sandhi, it becomes loka imaha. Loka plus imaha. Loke imaha. When the sandhi is made, loka imaha. Yesham loka imah prajaha means all these people whom we see, they are the children of those manus and also those saptarshis. So that is why we have got these gotrams originating from various rishis. If you are asked to tell your gotram, you will say some gotram. Angirasa Ayasya Gautama Satraya Risheya. You will say Angirasa Rishi Ayasya is there, Gautama is there. There are some sub-rishis again. So of course, these are all Sapta Maharshis, the topmost rishis. There are some more sub-rishis, some secondary rishis. So we have got all these, the big chart of all these rishis, and then how various gotras are formed and whatnot. So these are the people who are responsible for the whole creation. So that is the meaning here. Is this shloka okay? Madbhavaha manasa jataha yesham loke ima prajaha. Okay. Kincha Maharshayah iti. Maharshayah sapta bhrugvadayaha. So these sapta Maharshayah, Bhrugu, etc. Bhrugu and others. But of course, this sampradaya again may change. Somewhere it is Bhrugu may be there, Bhrugu may be called by some other name, some other man may be called by some other name. So that thing. Because we have got a tradition, we have traditionally got one sloka. What is that? Kashyapotri Bharadvajaha Vishwamitrasya Gautamaha Jamadagnir Vasishtasya Saptaite Rushayastatha. So Jamadagni, Vasishta, Kashyapa, Atri, Bharadvaja, Vishwamitra, Gautama, etc. etc. Those 7 people are, that is one traditional sloka. There is another traditional sloka including the name of Bhrugu. Maybe in Shankaracharya's time that sloka must have been there. We do not know. Bhrugvadayaha. So this Bhrugu, etc. Then Purve Atita Kala Sambandhinaha Chatvaraha. So Shankaracharya also he is dividing that way. 7 plus 4 plus Manavaha. Purve means Atita Kala Sambandhinaha. That is those who are much more ancient than these 7. These 7 people are after the creation. But those 4 people are in the divine level. These are all Brahma Manasa Putra, as they say. This Sanaka Sanandana, this. So Atita Kala Sambandhinaha Chatvaraha. Those 4 people. Then Manavaha Tatha Savarna iti Prasiddhaha. So Manavaha. Manavaha is plural. Manavaha means those manus, 14 manus, tatha, and they are otherwise called Savarnaha. They are Savarna manu, each manu is having that last appellation, so and so Savarna, so and so Savarna. So it is something appellation. Savarna iti prasiddhaha. Techa madbhavaha, madgata bhavanaha, Vaishnavena samarthyena upetaha, manasaiva utpadita, maya jataha utpannaha, yesham manunam, maharshinam cha srushtihi, loke imaha, sthavara jangamaha prajaha. Okay. So Maharshayah Sapta is okay over. Then Techa and those people, Madbhavaha, Madgata Bhavanaha. Their minds are dwelling in me. Their attention is in me. Which means Madbhava means they know my real nature. Madbhavaha. Then he is also explaining Vaishnavena Samarthyena Upetaha. they are having all that ability of that Vaishnava Samarthyam. What is that Vaishnava Samarthyam? Vishnu means Vishnu is all pervading nature. Vaishnava Samarthyam means they are having that ability to create. They are having the ability to create all these various say animate, inanimate, all this universe which is there. They are capable of creating. Samarthyena upetaha. They are having that ability. They are associated with that ability. Upeta means having that ability. Samarthyena upetaha, samarthyena upetaha. Then, how are they produced? Manavaha manasaiva utpadita maya. By me, they are, by my sheer will, they are produced. So, here this question Maya, who is this Maya? So, for greater clarity, say all the commentators I just verified, Nilakantha also says, Manasa Hiranyagarbha Rupasya Mama Manasaha Eva. Then again, Madhusudana also says, Matta eva Hiranyagarbhatmanaha Jataha. So all these people are saying that Hiranyagarbha. Why I am saying this is, regarding this Hiranyagarbha, there is some little bit of difference of opinion among different writers. For example, Vedanta Paribhashakara says, Hiranyagarbha is Murtitrayadanyaha Prathamo Jivaha, he says. Murtitrayadanyaha, that is Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, they are the Murtitrayam. And Hiranyagarbha is called a Jiva. So from the point of view of Jiva, he is that first life form, Hiranyagarbha. And from the point of view of Srushti and from the point of view of this divinity, you have to call it Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, etc., etc. So that is how Vedanta Paribhashakara says. But then, this Nilakantha and Madhusudana, they are prior to Vedanta Paribhashakara. Shankaracharya, of course, he has not mentioned whether it is Hiranyagarbha or anything. But then, Anandagiri, Nilakantha, Madhusudana, everybody is Sridhara, everybody is saying it is Hiranyagarbha. Which means this Hiranyagarbha, whether you call it Hiranyagarbha or whether you call it Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, there is not much difference. So that is what we have to remember. Because sometimes, when I read one particular text, I may be saying that all these God forms are visualized in Hiranyagarbha. It is not wrong. Maybe in some other book, in some other context, it may say Hiranyagarbha is a Jiva, and then Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwaras, etc., etc., they are the, say, from the perspective or from the point of view of, say, creation, they are the divine Vibhutis. This is a Jiva, this Hiranyagarbha is a Jiva Vibhuti, and this Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara are the Daiva Vibhuti. So that sort of categorization can be made, a fine distinction can be made, as in Vedanta Paribhasha of Dharmaraja Adhvari. You must be knowing that book, Vedanta Paribhasha. Vedanta Paribhasha is again a Prakarana Grantha, a very standard Prakarana Grantha, but much later to these things. Nilakantha, Madhusudana, this is something 17th century or so, that book has 18th century or so, that book has come. But these are much prior, all 15th, 16th, 14th century people. So here, so whatever we say, whether you call it Hiranyagarbha or whether you call it Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, it is that Chaitanyam only manifesting in different forms, isn't it? That Chaitanyam, Shuddha Chaitanyam, which is there in that Maya, you call it Hiranyagarbha or you call it Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, there is not much, say, problem. So that is what I want to drive home, because all the people, they are mentioning the name Hiranyagarbha. So Matta eva, that is Maya Jataha Utpannaha. From me, from that Hiranyagarbha only, all these things are born. Then Yesham Manunam Maharshinam cha Srushtihi, of these Manus and also of these Maharshis, this Srushti. This Srushti means this creation. All this creation which is made by these Manus and also by these Maharshis, Loke Imaha Sthavara Jangamaha Prajaha. Loke, in this world or in this universe, Sthavara Jangamaha. Sthavara means stationary, unmoving, insentient, trees, etc. Jangama. Jangama means Gachati. That is, people like us, not only people, all types of animals which move are Jangamas. Then all types of living things which are there, unmoving, that is, they are called the Sthavaras. Not only living but non-living also, that is stone, etc., etc. All these things, they are creation of these people only. So that is the thing. Is the time over? 40 seconds. So then we will leave it to the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति।